Okay, hello. Everyone here, we're taking off the starter on a 2015 Silverado 1500 5.3 liter engine. Yeah, but this right here, that's the starter. It started just right there. There's a little just below the exhaust manifold in this heat shield here. Yeah. So, take off this starter. We're going to need to take off this connector. This goes to the battery. This right here. So we're going to need to take that off, which I do believe is a 13 millimeter. Take off this heat shield, as well as this bolt over here, which is a heat shield to protect the starter from the exhaust here. So yeah, that's what we gotta do. We gotta take off that bolt there, 13 millimeter, and then pull this down. There'll be a clip. So push that down, yeah. So clip right there. Need to be careful taking that, unclipping that. And then we need to take out this 13 millimeter bolt. And then we can go underneath the truck and remove two more 13 millimeter bolts, and then the starter will be out. But here you don't even have to take off the tire. You can kind of go right around the tire. All you gotta do is just take off this little cover that goes around the tire using this here, this little ratchet at the end here. Which is so, if you have trouble, these two are kind of stripped out, so you need to use a vice grip to loosen them off. But yeah, just kind of take off the cover there, and then you can get right to the starter right through there. So you need to get to. There's the starter. That's what we need to get to. Alright, so there we go. We got the 13 millimeter cable here disconnected from the battery. It's 13 millimeter there. This one's actually a 10 millimeter. It's just a 10 millimeter screw. Holds the heat shield. Now I just need to disconnect this wire here to the starter. Just gotta disconnect that wire right there to the starter. Then we can go underneath. So there we go. There we go. We got it disconnected. A little wire here. Oh. This that way. Yeah, we got the little wire here. All disconnected up top. So now time to go down below. Which I think we're gonna need 13 millimeter here. I need a 13 millimeter ratchet. Alright, so there it is. Now we're underneath. We just gotta move those two bolts right there. That's what holds the starter up there. As you can see, we disconnected the wire connector up top. Yeah, just gotta disconnect those two. Alright, well, there we go. We got the starter out. The starter is, the old starter's out of the truck. As you can see, right there, starter is gone. We moved it using two 13mm bolts. Long bolts go right through there. Two 13mm bolts. They're pretty long. So it holds it up in there. But yeah, there's the solenoid, the starter solenoid. Here's the actual starter. Right here, this will be where we start the engine. Here's the battery. Here's the battery hookup to the solenoid starter right here. So the battery hooks up to your solenoid starter. And this one's the 13mm nut. This one is the 10mm bolt that attaches the heat shield on this side. And this is where it would plug into. The little wire would plug into right here. Yeah. This one's been kind of sitting here for. I don't think this starter hasn't ever been taken out before, so pretty sure this is the problem. Let's go get the new one. I go to Autozone, get the new one. Alright, well, here we got the new starter here. Looks pretty much the same as the old one. We got our battery connector right here. And there's a little wire that we need to connect to. Looks pretty much about the same. There's one single prong sticking out. And then right here, this is where that screw goes into that heat shield. 10mm screw goes into there. There's that 13mm nut. 10mm screw for the heat shield. And then we got our 13mm long bolts that attach the starter to the truck. So yeah, now it's time to put this thing back under there. Alright, well there we go. There we go. I got the new starter bolted up in there using 13mm. It's kind of a little difficult. Might be good to kind of like stick your hand from the wheel well here, and then play it in that way. You can kind of get your hand right underneath the starter here. Then you can use your other hand to tighten up those two 13mm bolts. So just go like that. You can always kind of screw them in. And now using a ratchet, you can therefore be able to tighten them up. Yeah, there you go. It's in place right now. We'll go ahead and tighten them up, and we'll stick in the heat shield one up there, and then the connector to the battery, as well as the wire. And yeah, there's that. And don't forget about that heat shield cover right there. Yeah, and then we can hook the battery back up. Alright, as you can see, we got the new starters in there. We got the heat shield, the 10mm screw that holds in the heat shield in place. We got 13mm nut that connects the battery to the starter, and then we got a heat shield wire placed in on there too. So with that, next is reconnecting the battery back to the truck. So here we got our new battery here. It's got this has got 750 cold cranking amps. There it is. 750 cold cranking amps. So the old one actually had 730, or no, 720. So a little bit, 30 more amps it would be excellent. Yeah. Then we got some dielectric grease here, which I already kind of put some grease on the poles here. It's just to kind of help with corrosion and be able to slide in the, make it slick so then you can slide on through. But yeah, well, let's stick the battery right in there. That's where the battery goes. There's the positive. The negative one is over here. So we'll just move this out of the way, and the battery goes right in there. Alright, well there we go. We got the battery inside right now. Just don't forget to tighten that screw right down in there. That's a 13mm screw. That's what holds the battery down to its little notch here. So don't forget to tighten that one, and don't forget to place this bracket right here, which connects all the way down there. That's another 13mm screw. Make sure it's nice and tight, and then make sure these connections are all correct here, where the blue stripe one goes in the middle, and then the yellow stripe one goes here on the end. Yeah. These are all 13mm, except for this one. This one's a 14mm nut. These are all 13mm nuts. Yeah. And that goes to this 10mm nut here that tightens the clamp around the post. But yeah, there we go. All we gotta do is just connect the negative to the negative end and tighten it up with a 10mm, and then there you go. The battery is hooked up, and hopefully the truck, therefore the truck should start. Yep, and there is the sound of the engine working. It's running right now. The engine's running. Got the battery all hooked up correctly. And the starter down here is all hooked up correctly. Ah, beautiful sound here. It's all working. No leaks down there. Yeah. That was the issue. It was the starter. Hope this video would help. Placing the starter on a 2015 Chevy Silverado 1500 5.3 liter engine, 8-cylinder motor.